Welcome to my sanctuary in soil. My name is Aisha, and in this video series I am going to be sharing with you all of the knowledge that I have acquired in my early years as a gardener. Now, it's important that you know that I am not an expert and I'm not going to pretend to be. What I can tell you is that in the seasons that I have been gardening, I have been successful, and the way that I measure success is that I actually have been able to produce vegetables, right? So, and not only that, but I have enjoyed the process greatly. Now, obviously, through the couple of years that I've been doing it, I have been learning a lot. I am an avid learner, and I have watched thousands of hours of videos and read a lot of information. And so I'm going to give you what I think is the minimum basic information that you need to learn for your first garden. In this video series of the first garden basics, I will be sharing the 12 steps of gardening. Now, I'm not going to get too fancy. I'm going to use the words that I needed to hear when I was starting so that I could understand what those steps are. And while they are 12 steps, they are really simple steps, and I'm just going to cover the basics in each and every one of them. Now, the 12 steps is, first, why do you want to have a garden? You know, and because whatever the goal is how you're going to make the decisions on all the other steps. Then step number 2 is, where are you going to put your garden? What is the right spot for your garden? Very important. Step number 3 is, when should you start gardening, right? Because it matters where you live and the zone in which you are, but more about that later. Step number 4 is, in what? Like, what is the plant space that you are going to be growing your plants? As you can see, I have garden beds here. They're different, and we're going to go into, you know, what types of places do you do it, or should you just do it in ground? Then we're going to go into step number 5, which is what to grow. That is a big decision because the choices are enormous. You know, the more that I garden, the more that I find new things that I want to grow. But you have to have a very smart decision process to choose what you're going to grow. Then step number 6 is your plan. How to lay out your garden so that it works the best for you and you get the best return on your investment. Then we're going to go to step number 7, which is starting. You know, and it starts with the seeds and plants that you should start, you know, in your garden. Then brings us to step number 8, which is moving, because when you start your plants, whether they're starter plants or seeds, you're going to have to move them at some point. Not always, but sometimes. And how to move them is a serious business, because obviously you want to make sure that you do it with the utmost care so that you don't kill your plants. Now, I don't think I kill very many plants, but if you do it the right way, then you have a higher chance of success. Then step number 9 is care. How to ensure that you get the return on investment of the work that you have put in so far. So you gotta care for all these plants to make sure that they are healthy and they produce what you want them to produce. Then that brings us to step number 10, harvesting, because you want to reap what you sow. And so you need to know when to harvest, and we're going to cover that in that step. Then on step number 11 is capturing seeds. It's not a step that you have to do, but it's kind of fun, you know, thing to do, because that's when you really realize where all this food is coming from and the magic of, you know, gardening and the miracle of gardening. Then comes step number 12, cooking. And that is when you know, eat what you harvest, because the whole, you know, maybe not the whole point, but one of the goals of being a gardener is that you have producing food. Like here we have these Brussels sprouts, right? And you know, we want to be able to learn how to cook that food so that it's delicious for us, and we want to do it again and again and again. And so the way that I'm going to do this video series is, in each video, which is going to be like 10-15 minutes long, I'm going to capture each and every one of those steps. And then I'm going to link below each of the videos any additional resources that I think might help you as they help me. All right? Are you ready? We'll see you in the next video.